Hey everybody, we're in the Scholarium. Gonna start the Griffon line. Captain's log of the Intrepid Guar. Here written is the log of Captain Tursith Garrel aboard the Integral merchant vessel, the Intrepid Guar. 19th day of Ram's Head, 2E527. 2E572. Pleasant gales and smooth waters as we leave Nikram. Our destination is Lilmoth and Murkmire, with a healthy cargo of weapons and armor for our new Argonian allies. We hope to make port by second seed. 20th day of Rain's Hand, 2E572. Our fair weather continues to hold steady. The crew caught sight of a few Argonian fishing boats off the coast of Deshan. Friendly smiles abound. Well, I believe they were smiling. 21st day of Rain's Hand, 2E572. Strange fog coming off of Black Marsh, tinged green with an odious stench. We've decided to steer the ship further out to sea in hopes of finding the fog's edge. 22nd day of Rain's Hand, 2E572. The fog persists and we have yet to find its edge. For fear of being swept out to deeper waters, I've instructed the crew to return to our southwestern heading in hopes of spotting the coastline. 23rd day of Rain's Hand, 2E572. The fog persists. I've instructed the crew to release 2 tenders, tied to the ship, but given enough slack to venture 12 yards to the east and west. My hope is that we can avoid damaging our hull should we suddenly come upon a reef or rocky coastline. The crew will take 4-hour shifts aboard the tenders. 24th day of Rain's Hand. Fog persists, and I've lost all sense of where we are, and without a clear view of the stars, I can't get a proper heading. 25th day of Rain's Hand. We lost a crew member who was aboard the western tender, a young boy, Uvrin Fari. I knew his father. Some of the crew say they heard him screaming. No one wants to continue shifts aboard the tenders, but without scouts, we run the risk of marooning ourselves on a reef or sandbar. I will volunteer myself for tender duty. I hope this will inspire confidence in the rest of the crew. 26th day of Rain's Hand. During my shift aboard the western tender, I thought I caught a glimpse of the stars through the fog. It was just a moment, but enough that I can't rule out a hallucination. What I saw, I did not recognize those stars. 27th day of Rain's Hand. The ship has been caught in some sort of current. The force of it was monstrous, as if the ship was suddenly yanked across the sea. Thankfully, we were able to bring the tender scouts back in before the current tore the tenders loose. We have no clear understanding of where this current is taking us. I pray it's out into clear waters and not the razor edge of a cliffside. Regardless, we were securing the crew in the galley and bracing the ship for impact should the worst come to pass. 28th day. The current is pulling us in circles. It was gradual at first, but as the hours passed, it became clearer and clearer that we've been caught in some sort of tidal whirlpool. But if that's the case, it isn't like any I've seen before. The scale of this has to be massive, and possibly massive. Update. The boat is creaking. The whirlpool is straining every strut and rivet, and a storm seems to have found our little ship. We're all scared. I just want the spinning to stop. Please, make it stop. First day marooned. I'll do my best to recount events. As we took shelter in the galley, there was a great cracking sound like thunder. My second believes it was the mast snapping in two. After that, it was a cacophony of sea spray, fractured wood, and screaming. I must have blacked out. We awoke on a shore surrounded by debris from the ship. Of the 20 crew members I commanded, 7 have been found. I seem the worst for the others, but we have yet to find their bodies. We've yet to determine where we are. Vegetation is thick and dense, a jungle unlike any I've seen. I'm wary of leaving the shore, but if we don't find more supplies soon, we'll have to venture into the jungle for food. 5th day, marooned. The insects here are massive. dart wings the size of adult scribs, and the beasts, impossibly large, scaled monstrosities, lizards the size of hillsides. So far they don't seem bothered by our presence, but I'd like to keep it that way. 7th day marooned. We've nearly exhausted our supplies, and there's still no sign of edible vegetation. There's talk of hunting some of the smaller lizard beasts, but I worry about angering the herd. 12th day marooned. We found Vanessa Oral screaming beneath the shade of a strange tree. It seems she tried to drink its sap. There's talk of... But no, we'll bury her near the shoreline. Does it even matter? We've walked along the shore for weeks in hopes of finding some sort of settlement or more debris from our wreck. Large insects have made for a decent supply of food, but I can feel myself withering away with every passing day. They're all gone, and I'm struggling to remember their names. I have to keep going. For then. There is no horizon. Only stone, star of Azura. Am I underground? Have we been underground this whole time?
Ho there, friend. I know the path of scribing beckons. You're no doubt hoping to contact the Griffon luminary. Unfortunately, it seems we have a page thief in the Scalarium.
Someone stole the pages from the Griffon fable?
Just so. We were cataloging tomes and left the fable unattended for just a moment. Then from the other room we heard yips and snarls and found it torn apart. Nalia is already at work trying to find an alternative to the missing pages.
Where is she?
The East Wing, looking for anything Ulfsild might have left behind about the Griffin. Hopefully she'll get you pointed in the right direction. My deepest apologies. This was a grave error on my part, but it won't happen again.
I'll go speak to Malia.
Don't worry. A few wards around the library and we'll make sure the page thief doesn't strike again. In the meantime, perhaps Nalia has found something left behind by Ulfsild over in the East Wing.
How's the catalog going?
It's going well. I'm not usually the type to work at a desk, but it's been interesting to walk the halls and see all the different titles. From what Julian and Anard have said, this place is a treasure trove of knowledge.
Any parts of the library in particular catch your eye?
A section dedicated to cookbooks from the First Era, shelves of poetry from Atmora, and a startling number of bawdy limericks stacked up in a pile of chapbooks. Archmage Ulfsild, it seems, was eager to follow the hunt for knowledge wherever it led.
Okay, I did look up starting the next Mages Guild quest, which I've been looking for in different Mages Guilds. And I won't qualify for that for a little while. I need to get my Mages Guild to level 3. Right now it is at 2. I'm about halfway there, but I need to read more books. More lore books. The ones that glow blue.
Ah, good, you're here. Give it a listen.
I can already feel the pull on Ivea. Nothing we can do now will outpace the greed of a Daedric prince. I know that this situation is hard to accept, but I wish the Griffin and the Fox would understand. This isn't a fight we can win.
She sounded so sad. Losing Ivea and the Scalarium to the whims of Sheogorath must have been devastating. And it sounds like the Griffin didn't much like it either.
When I spoke to him, Shalador seems very angry about the loss of Ivea as well.
I'd heard you were assisting the Master of Incunabula with a special project. Helping Shalador himself. Very impressive. Ulfsild was just as talented as her husband. Almost every ward is holding. Which makes our interloper all the more confusing.
What do you mean?
I managed to catch sight of our pest just before you arrived, and it's a fox. Possibly the fox Ulfsild mentioned in the Echo? It was enormous and seemed intelligent. Honestly, it looked very surprised to see me.
An intelligent fox stole the fable pages?
We're all in above our heads here. Don't look to me for answers. Luckily, our foxy friend might have helped us out. When he saw me, he dropped one of the pages. It's the first page to the fable with Ulfsild's notes clear as day.
Our notes are already visible without the lens?
Ulfsild must have left it behind with the annotations already visible. For some reason? Maybe if you meet that fox, you can ask him about it. I put it on the table just over there. Give it a look.
Have you learned anything else about Ulfsild or the Griffin in your research?
Ulfsild's handwriting is on every tome in here, but she wasn't eager to share much of herself with history. As for the Griffin, he seems to come off as a strong personality, but with a bit of an interesting soft spot. That fox she mentioned.
How is that fox the Griffin's soft spot?
Well, if the Griffin is the stout defender Ulfsild's notes make him out to be, you'd think he'd take a dim view to thievery. But apparently this mighty Griffin and this clever fox got along as thick as... well, thick as thieves.
Why do you think Ulfsild wrote down so little about herself?
I think she felt there were more important things to write about. She seems very driven, in her echoes and in the notes. Compelled by her quest to understand scribing and the luminaries, to leave behind a legacy.
What do you mean by strong personality? Stronger than the Netch?
Magnus, I'm not sure that's possible. The Netch's joyous floating is, well, it's a singular experience. Ulfsild's notes make him out to be something of a knight in the mold of the ancient orders. Strong, true, and unyielding.
Page is torn from a book. No matter how fast we run, the knight follows, fretted Gray, swishing his tail. Zariah stared at her friend. That's it, she said. What the dying man said. Dusk always falls. They ran from the tendrils of night to Castle Duskfall. Gray's magic cast their movements in shadow. Zariah noticed the curious lines on the scrap of map made the shape of the Treva to the north. The castle on the river Treva? Could this be about the overlooked towers? I've never heard it referred to by that name. Regardless, we're in the rift. Are you certain this will work? Says Gray, keeping lookout as Zariah dug at the base of the highest tower. Stealing the Griffin's treasure? And blaming it on the Lady of the Night? Said Zariah. Yes. You really ought to keep your voice down, Gray fretted, hopping back and forth. But Zariah just laughed. What haunts this old keep don't care what we say. But Gray's eyes were keen, and what Zariah saw as simple crows, Gray knew to be something much, much more. Just then, Zariah's shovel hit something hard, and Gray yipped as the night messengers began to...
And you're off like a racing frog. Let me know if you want to confer about the directions in the fable. I'm so glad we were able to overcome this little hiccup. That first page should be enough to get you going. I just hope you'll find some clue that will lead you to the next set of wards.
About that, take a look at the fable. Do you have any suggestions of where I should go?
I'm not too familiar with the rift, but I do know that the Treva is a river that splits the hold. Maybe follow it south from the Molten and see what you can find? Just remember, what was a castle overlook back then might just be ruins now.
And if I dispel the wards, do you really think I'll find a clue to the next set?
Julian and Laren are working to strengthen our wards. If it was the fox stealing the pages, perhaps there'll be enough to catch it when it returns. And of course, if you need help with something, come back here and I'll do what I can.
Have you ever read this fable before?
Something about those names. Gray and Saria. They seem familiar, but I can't imagine I've read this. Maybe the fable was the basis for one of my mum's many bedtime stories? She had scores of them for every season and mood that took her.
Okay, this time I'm going to check to see if there actually is a portal.
Chroniclers in the Mages Guild have a policy.
I don't know if stuff like this changes... Ah, okay. Yeah, I only have one. I need an achievement to get it. Nalia's Journal 2. Thank Ifrit for Laren. I'm not sure I'd be alive right now if it wasn't for him. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I should start from the beginning, or this won't make sense later. I never was one for documentation, but this is important. After we arrived at the ruins, things were quiet for a bit. The site's located in a picturesque part of Colovia, not generally considered dangerous. Votary Laren and I took turns patrolling the perimeter, but it felt like overkill. The adepts were near a set of ancient doors that led into the ruins, comparing the etched runes on the doors to their own notes and writing things down. I was about to suggest to Laren that we take a break when one of the adepts screamed. I don't know how or why, but they opened the doors. That wasn't part of the plan, but even then it wouldn't have been a problem except for the angry tribe of goblins spilling out from inside the ruins. Ifrit's beard, I've never seen such a seething horde before. I guess I'd be angry too if a group of strangers suddenly barged into my home. The adepts quickly began flinging spells to defend themselves, clutching their notes close to their chests as they retreated. Laren was quicker than a wolf on the hunt, throwing himself between the adepts and the goblins, his sword flashing as he moved. Before I realized it, I was next to him in the throng. Votary training must have really sunk in, since my body responded before my mind could catch up. We felt like that for a while, Laren and I seamlessly covering each other as we created a buffer zone between the goblins and the adepts. Thankfully, there weren't too many of them, and they seemed to be moving back into the ruins somewhat. I turned to check that all the adepts were safely out of the fray. With my attention elsewhere, one enterprising goblin took the opportunity to catch me by the ankles and knock me to the ground. Rule number 1 of votary training is to keep your feet on the battlefield. I was done for, taken out by my first assignment, by a blighted goblin no less. That was when I realized I'd been down long enough to have all of these thoughts, and I hadn't died yet. And I saw Laren, his face screwed up in concentration as he held back the pack of goblins single-handedly. His face was bruised and bloodied. He was letting them land blows on himself to protect me on the ground. The sight was enough to jolt me to action. I jumped to my feet, sword at the ready. But as I rose, something felt different. There was a twinge in my gut, a tingling at my fingertips. I'd felt it before, though rarely, in the classrooms of the Mages Guild. It was magic, flowing through me and demanding to be released. I didn't resist it. My hands extended, and I channeled the energy outward, and the one magical element I'd ever been good at. Portal. The other adepts didn't hesitate. Goblins weren't backing down, so it was clear their research was over for now. They plunged into the portal that I knew would take them home. Laren was still fighting, his breath coming in gasps now. I called out to him, and his eyebrows rose in surprise at the portal I'd summoned, but he understood. With a quick nod in my direction, he broke from the skirmish and threw himself head first into the portal. I followed right behind him, turning off that magical channel as I passed through. The last thing I heard was the infuriated cries of the goblins as their quarry slipped beyond their reach. I haven't decided how to tell my parents about that first assignment. They'll be proud that I served the guild well and protected the adepts, but I know they wish I was the one being protected, not the protector. Still, it was incredible. Laren thanked me for the quick exit, and even the mages seemed impressed by my skill with portals. So let's see if there is a portal to the rift in the foyer. There we go.
Holmes, I will send for you.
Okay, I am headed right there.
imagine the fine attire you might make with that.
Don't be scared. I'm a friend, I think.
Fox.
Oh my gosh, I was right. You're trying to fix Ulfsild's library. You're trying to talk to the Griffin, aren't you? I am so sorry about tearing all the pages out of that book.
So that was you. Why did you steal all the pages?
I got excited. Oh, that happens sometimes. And it's what I'm good at. The stealing, I mean. Let's start over. I'm the fox. Ulfsild said one day people might try to break in. When I saw you sniffing around, I thought I'd try and protect my friend.
Nolly and I are working with the Luminaries to restore the Scholarium.
That's why I stopped hiding. When I got close, I could smell the Indrik on you. If the Indrik thinks you're good, then you're good. That guy knows good. I see now I was just holding you back. Let me make it up to you.
You'll give me back the pages for the fable?
About that. I took quite the mouthful of pages. And then I dropped one when your friend Nalia, was it? Oh, when she saw me. So, I thought it best to hide the other pages near the other wards. Good news, though. I hid one right here.
All right, let's see it then. Griffin Fable, annotated, page 2. Gaped as they saw the fox drag Zarya out of the tavern. Their drinks would have gone dribbling down the fronts if they'd heard them talk. In the dark of the alley, mead drunk and sentimental, Zarya wept into her friend's fur. "I thought they took you back to the Crow's Wood," she cried. "I didn't realize they understood. My thieves can't." "I'm all right," Gray said, brushing her off. "But you're spending gold we don't have drinking like that. The Griffin's treasure is worth nothing unless you can find all 3 pieces. Are you listening, Rhea?" Zarya was not listening. Her eyes had the light from before, and she felt around like she was grasping at starlight. "It's here," she said, "here in the city." Gray looked around. "How is that possible? It must have been placed here before there was a town here." He peered down into the dark canal. Maybe even before there was a lake. "Lake Honric, I presume. You must be speaking of Riften." "Sai is with us," said Zarya. She broke the wards and revealed the treasures just as dawn broke and drove back the shadows. "Only one more piece," said Gray. "Until we find the door and the Griffin very likely kills us." "Or," countered Zarya, "all we need to do is step out of the way. Let his talons contend with the Lady of the Night. I don't seek the power of this mythical creature, only the means to let us live a life where we don't have to keep running." Gray looked up at her with shining eyes. "It's not too late for me to go back." But Zarya would not hear it. "No, my friend, you are too kind and clever to be kept in a prison of shadows for all your days. This will work, I'm certain of it."
Great. I've got my own way to get about. I'll see you at the next location.
Gonna gut him when I find him.
Exactly, just not far enough.
This is unbearable.
Key fragment! Oh, look at you go! You're so much quicker than I was expecting. I thought I'd have to come out and show you where it was. Oh, I'm one step closer to talking to the Griffon again.
You and he were good friends?
Oh, the best of friends. He's not the best conversationalist right now, but just wait. When he's back to his normal self, he'll be a joy to talk to. Just one more key fragment to go.
Did you hide another page from the fable here?
Oh, right. Yes. So, I dropped it. I was down by the water taking a drink when a great large cat spooked me. I didn't think cats got that big. I think it's still down there.
I'll go down and look then.
Find the big cat by the water, and I bet that page will still be there. I believe in you!
What hope is there for me?
I should drown
This
my
is
troubles in mead.
unbearable.
Oh, there's the portal back to the Scholarium. Page torn from a book. Beneath Forelhost, for it had been hidden when the land was new. Beneath Forelhost, so not at Forelhost proper, perhaps a cavern below it. That must be Brokenhelm Hollow. Sarai was happy not to contend with the risen dead, but in explaining as much, she had not watched where she was going, and trod in a circle of hibernating snow bears. Soraya fled through the broad circuit of the caves, shouting to Gray where she saw the thumbprints on the face of Nirn and trusting her friend to recover the final piece of the treasure. Okay. Floral host is down here. Head to my house.
There's always more to do.
Can I beg a moment of your time?
They're all gone. Help!
Yeah.
Is there an entrance here? Ah, hold on. Finnefan's Mysteries of Mead. There's a reason I was kicked out of Daggerfall, chased out of Eldenroot, and banned from Mournhold. I've tried every variety of intoxicant wine, ale, and Argonian swill the world has to offer. I've sampled skooma with Khajiit, licked an Argonian history, and hunted magical toads with the Bosmer. None of that compares to Nord mead. There's nothing like it. The purest stuff is made in Nord villages, but we're at war with the Nords. The Breton has no guarantee of surviving a trip like that. Leave that sort of thing to the professionals. There's still hope, however. If you're ever at a tavern and there's a cask of Nord mead, you'd be a fool to pass it up. Mead is made by fermenting honey and water, though a few recipes call for molasses. Sometimes you add grain, mash, and strain it, but that isn't necessary. Some of the high elves call it honey wine, but mead needs more than good honey. Every meadery has its own recipe. After you drink enough mead, you learn the names of the brewmaster who creates them. A drunk Nord will gladly punch another in the face over the honor of a good brewmaster. And again, a drunk Nord will punch anyone for just about anything. Every brewmaster has a distilled blend of spices, fruit, and sometimes hops, which make a mead bitter, which makes some Nords bitter, too. I've even heard tales of mead mixed with the blood of heroes, allegedly granting them the words of a poet or skald. I'd like a mead named after me, but I'm not going to bleed for it. An Altmer once told me that brewing is the basis of all culture. It's why our ancestors started farming and forming cities. It's what we do when we've got too much wheat and barley and hops and we're sick of farming. The culture of drinking seems to be what keeps Nords together. Nord must really be sick of farming, because the brew they drink in prodigious amounts is mead. Whenever a cask of really good mead is opened, Nords gather round, because they know the cask won't last long. If you don't know how to behave in the Nord drinking culture, you'll end up broken, hungover, and helpless. I found out the hard way. Nords love to drink, but more than that, Nords respect those who can endure adversity. I know that sounds flowery for explaining why two drunk Nords would have a hit-me-hard-in-the-face contest, but really, that's why their culture celebrates getting drunk. A Nord can gain respect by consuming more mead than anyone else, just as he's respected for surviving a blizzard or killing a bear with a sharp stick. Nord honor is something they talk about endlessly when they're drunk, and even more when they're sober. So the first thing you learn about Nords is if you want their respect, never turn down a drink. It's a test. Can't handle the next drink? Leave. Otherwise you'll wake up somewhere they find hilarious, but you won't be laughing. Nords also love their skalds. Songs and story go over well with a drunk audience once they've had enough brawling, boasting, and throwing axes at each other. Their songs are all about how they're better than everyone else at everything. We've all heard them over and over again, so bring some of your own. They're desperate to hear something new. Anywhere you go, drinking is also a good way to redress a mistake or make an apology. And it's the same with noise. If you lose a contest, you need to buy a drink. If you make a mistake or offend someone, you need to buy a drink. If you're insulted, stand there and take it, then you need to buy a drink. You don't have to be the best brawler around to survive a room of drunken orgs. You can also impress them by being clever or being talented, but you better be really good. When it's time to take a punch in the face, you better be ready to take a punch in the face. If you don't like getting punched, there's some things you should never talk about, like politics, who's the best brewmaster, and who punches the hardest, and never demand to know why someone just punched you in the face. If you want to hear more, buy me a drink the next time I'm in Daggerfall. I'll tell you a story. Okay, it is up. This is a very strange road. I think... Okay.
Azura, give us strength.
We're in Broken Helm Hollow. Yeah, I know exactly where we are. A lot of the places have the same names, which is kind of cool.
Another find for your deep pockets.
Okay, we're going to be in here, so I'm going to do the delve while I'm here and do the quest. A ramshackle camp lays abandoned at the cave entrance. A barely legible sheaf of notes lies next to the campfire. Perhaps one of the residents left some clue as to their fate. Skaggy's got us holed up in this frozen rock. Says we need to lay low, and this cave's been used by bandits for generations. Won't be the guards. Won't the guards know about it then? This reeks something awful as well, though Skaggy's are claiming it didn't smell like this before. Dirty, rotten liar. He's whining about me writing again. Tough luck. I need this to think. Doesn't matter, though. I hid the best diamond from our loot in my false tooth. I'll sneak out tonight. And after one quick trip to Sarina and Riften, I'll be out of the business for good. Okay, broken skeleton. Find nothing in this skeleton's teeth, even the false ones. Okay. Okay. Oh, we have to search lots of skeletons. I get it. Texts of Sheogorath, Volume 1, by Monophagus. Sheogorath and King Lyander. King Lyander was known to be an exceedingly rational man. He lived in a palace that was a small, simple structure, unadorned with art and ugly to look upon. I do not need more than this, he would say. Why spend my gold on such luxuries when I can spend it on my armies or on great public works? His kingdom prospered under his sensible rule. However, the people did not always share the king's sense of practicality. They would build houses that were beautiful to look upon, although not necessarily very practical. They devoted time in events. They would celebrate events with lavish festivals. In general, they were quite happy. King Lyander was disappointed that more of them did not follow his example and lead frugal, sensible lives. He brooded on this for many years. Finally, he decided that his subjects simply didn't understand how much more they could accomplish if they didn't waste time on those frivolous activities. Perhaps, he reasoned, they just needed more examples. The king decreed that all new buildings must be simple, unadorned, and no larger than was necessary for their function. The people were not happy about this, but they liked their king and respected the new law. In a few short years, there were more plain buildings than ornate ones. Okay, this book by Monophagus is available in Skyrim. This is only part of it. There are 3 or 4 myths. King decreed. Okay. King Lyander was disappointed that more of them did not follow his example and lead frugal, sensible lives. He brooded on this for many years. Finally, he decided his subjects simply didn't understand how much more they could accomplish if they didn't waste time on those frivolous activities. Perhaps, he reasoned, they just needed more examples. The king decreed that all new buildings must be simple, unadorned, and no larger than was necessary for their function. The people were not happy about this, but they liked their king and respected the new law. In a few short years, there were more plain buildings than ornate ones. The citizens used the money saved to make and buy even more lavish art and hold even more excessive celebrations. Once again, King Lyander decided to provide them a strict example of how beneficial it would be to use their time and resources for more practical purposes. He banned all works of art in the city. The people were quite put out by this, but they knew their king was doing what he thought was the best for them. However, human nature is not so easily denied. In a few more years, the city was filled with plain, simple buildings and devoid of any sort of art. However, the people now had even more money.
Choice.
Okay, I'm going to try to remember to read this later. It's ridiculous to try to read it here.
Worse than no peace.
Okay, I'm just... okay. Okay, found the diamond. So, Serena is in, Griffon.
What the?
So there are sleeping bears, just like in the fable.
Wow, it's cold in here. Let's be quick. That's 3, right? You've really got a knack for this kind of thing. Is it possible? Have you ever been a fox?
Why are you asking?
Where I come from, folks become foxes and foxes become folks. It's a thing. I was just curious. Anyway, you're so close to meeting the Griffon. With this last page, you should have the whole fable put back together.
I should be able to find the Griffin's door then.
Right! And good timing. All this jumping around has got my paws yelping. You go find your door. I'll head back to the Griffin, and we'll get him talking. Yay!
I'll see you in the wing of the Griffin then.
And dig, dig, dig. Here you go.
Curiously down at them, blocking the magic doorway built upon a tomb. Though far from dusk, the sight lay already in shadow of Hrothgar. Snow-buffed wind blew through the door, billowing Zarya's cloak and revealing the stolen treasure beneath. Near dusk, already in the shadow of Mount Hrothgar, meaning a barrow close to the eastern side of the mountain's base. Iverstead is built near one such place. The Lady of Night would not know me, and therefore never move against me this way, said the Griffin. But even then, doubt crept into his voice. He'd spent an age in solitude and knew naught of the Daedra, nor any of their kin, and already they were surrounded by crows and tendrils of shadow. We lied, Gray cried, frightened and compelled to truthfulness. I'm her pet and sought escape. Zarya helped me, but the Lady of Night takes all things back in the dark. He peeked past the Griffin into the doorway. We will return your treasures and take all the more on your behalf if you give us sanctuary. The dark closed in like water, pooling around them, lapping at their feet. Zarya drew her weapons, defending Gray from tendrils of shadow. The Griffin then judged her worthy of his boon of power, being both of great skill and courage, and loyal to her small friend. The Griffin raked his talons through the tendrils of shadow, but they had no quarrel with him, only the two thieves. To my domain, called the Griffin, moving back to them through the door at last. But it was too late. Zarya held back the night's darkness with a thin tunnel of starlight, just wide enough for Gray to slip through. Then, using the boon of power the Griffin had just given her, she sealed the door to the Griffin's domain with Gray and the Griffin on the far side. Gray keened for Zarya, pawed and scratched at the locked door until his nails bled. The Griffin, however, a Lady of Night, especially if we're in the Rift and such, it's very likely nocturnal. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to my house, turn in the quest in Riften for the diamond, and then run on over.
I will stay close to you, Tamit. I do not wish to lose my way.
Welcome to the Withered Tree. Good luck getting any actual help around here.
I hear you're interested in diamonds.
Keep your voice down. Why do you think fences don't have storefronts? Discretion, discretion, discretion.
Do you want it or not?
Of course I do, but I can't trade while I'm on my shift. Give the diamond to me. You'll find your payment in the graveyard behind the Fighters Guild. Look for a cairn with flowers on it. Don't dig too deep. The Nords are touchy about their graves.
How do I know you won't take the diamond and run?
Fences who can't be found don't stay in business for long. And I couldn't stay here after cheating a damn hero. Bribes only get you so far. Now go!
Ooh. Use the Zaid voice. I'm a big goddamn hero. Oh, speaking of voices. Sheogorath. Now that we won't be interrupted by bears. The people now had even more money and time to devote to their parties and festivals. With a heavy heart, King Lyander decided that his people were to be treated like children, and like all children, they needed rules and discipline laid down by great figures of authority to make them understand what was truly important in life. He decreed that there should be no revelry in the city. Singing, dancing, and music were all banned. Even food and drink were limited to water and simple foodstuffs. People had had enough. Revolt was out of the question since King Leander had a very well-trained
Did you
and
hear
equipped
some cultists
army.
found an old
They
Daedric
visited the
shrine in
shrines and
Fungal
temples in
Grotto?
droves,
Killed all the Dreg just to get at it.
praying to all the gods, but even to some of the Daedric princes, the King Leander would revoke these new oppressive laws. Sheogorath heard their pleas and decided to visit King Leander. He appeared to the king in his dreams as a field of flowers, each with arms instead of petals, and the face of the mad god in the center. I am lord of the creative and lord of the deranged. Since you have no use for my gifts of creativity, I've decided to bless you with an abundance of my other gift. From that day forward, every child born in the city was born into madness. Since infants do not reveal illnesses of the mind, it was several years before this was realized. The king's own son was among the victims, suffering from seizures and delusions. Yet King Leander refused to change his ways. When his son, Glint, was 12 years old, he stabbed his father while Leander was sleeping. With his dying breath, King Leander asked, "Why?" His son replied, "It is the most practical thing I could do." The new young king ordered all the palace servants slaughtered. He ordered a grand feast to celebrate the new reign and the repeal of Leander's laws. He served the crowds a stew made from the carcasses of the palace servants. He ordered the east-facing walls of every building painted red, and the west-facing walls painted in stripes. He decreed that all citizens wear ornate masks on the back of their heads. He then burned down the palace and began construction of a new one. In the new palace, the young king ordered his personal chambers to not have any doors for fear that small woodland creatures would attack him. He ordered that it have no windows for fear that the sun and moon were jealous of him and plotting his death. And thus ended the line of King Leander. The people of the city returned to their grand works of art and raucous celebrations. They talked and acted as if they still had a living king, and even kept up the palace, using it to house and care for their mad children. Sheogorath was mightily pleased with this outcome. From that day forward, the city was blessed with more than the normal number of gifted artists and deranged citizens.
Let us move. Spin and weave with Mafala's swiftness.
There are fresh flowers in the cairn indicating Serena's payment is inside. Move the rocks aside. Find Serena's reward nestled underneath the first layer of stones. See something. Nice. Okay, so I'm able to harvest now the top tier wood and the top tier cloth. I don't know about metal yet, but that's a relief. Save on materials to a relieving extent. Ah, it's a delve. Okay. Nice. Okay, I got my Soldier of Apocrypha to 50. So my main class. Very cool. Curative Rune Forms is the last one.
Hey, you made it! Griffon, this is the new friend I was telling you about. They're gonna help you out. Welcome to the Wing of the Griffon. As you can see, the Griffon himself isn't quite ready to talk just yet. I've kept him company ever since the library disappeared. I'm not sure if he can hear me in there, but I talk to him every day.
What happened?
Oh, you should have seen him. Wings spread so wide that he could block out the sun. The Griffon was ready to take on Sheogorath all by himself. Ulfsild was the one that stopped him, froze him here like this, to keep him safe.
Why did she freeze him?
Ulfsild knew that in a fight between a luminary and a Daedric prince, the Griffon would lose. He's probably mad at her. But I'm grateful. I don't know what I would do if I didn't still have him around. And now you're here!
What can I do?
Ulfsild conjured up a mighty blizzard to freeze him and hung the magic on a ward she left behind. You should be able to dispel it just like you do the other wards. Just so you know, he might be a little grumpy. Sorry in advance.
I'll dispel the ward and free the Griffon then.
Whoa. Easy. It's me, remember? The fox.
I remember you, my friend. Don't worry. I just been holding that in a long time.
Straight in. I'm not sure I can get up there. Let's see if there's a back way. Nope, they won't let me up there. Okay. Let's talk to them from the base.
Mortal, greetings and defiance. My companion has clearly adopted you, but then he's always seen the best in people. Why should I stay my claws?
I'm working with a group to restore the Scalarium. We have no reason to fight.
I have been trapped here for a very long time, mortal. I did not feel the full passage of time, but I know it's been many years. I know Ulfsild is dead. And I know what happened to Ivea.
I'm actually working with the spirit of Shalador to restore Ivea.
You can tell Ulfsild's mate he is an old fool, and a Daedric prince of nonsense. Bah, you have a luminary's apology. This has not been an easy awakening. Once, my feathers were armor, my talons cut stone, and my beak could rend the sky itself.
I just want to restore the Scalarium and master scribing.
Ah, focused, driven. You remind me of Ulfsild, but I suppose that's to be expected. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts, mortal. Place the fable upon the dais, and if you want, speak to my companion. He'll be eager to chat, no doubt. It's so good to be able to stretch my limbs, to breathe deep again. I need to go flying soon to truly shake off this chill. But first, we have business, you and I.
What would you like me to do? Challenges like the Indrik?
The other luminaries concern themselves with challenges, riddles, frippery, and dalliance. If you wish to earn my trust, my strength, know it takes heart to protect, to shield those that do not have the strength to defend themselves.
You want me to protect people?
I chose to be a bulwark against the hordes, and I'll ask you to do the same. I will summon a list of safeguard tasks. Complete the ones that appeal to you. I will rally my strength, and we will see what happens next.
I'll complete some of your safeguard tasks in return.
Injustice did not rest while I slumbered. Your time will be well used on these tasks, and while you are gone, the fox and I will have some time to catch up. I missed him dearly.
Why are you and the fox companions?
He is loyal, perhaps to a fault. A quality that we both share. When we first met, he was attempting to save a life, and I felt compelled to intervene. Just another creature to protect, sheltering beneath my wings.
But that's not true now?
I would call what we have a partnership, if he had any interest in making decisions. He is fiendishly clever, and unless I'm mistaken, I would not be talking to you today, if not for him.
You seem an odd pairing.
Our differences, I think, do not weaken us, but instead make us stronger. I act as a shield for the weak. He aids me in my calling, and we enjoy our time together. What else would you ask for in a companion? In a friend?
Can you tell me about yourself?
I am not so old as the Indrik, not so young as the Netch. I was born from another's death, a great sage who stood against a terrible enemy and burned them out from within. A mighty and beautiful spell that cost them their life.
How were you born from that magic?
The casting required a lengthy ritual, a vast pool of magicka, built day upon day, only to rush forth into a great flood. When the dam burst, there was still a great reservoir left behind, one that coalesced, distilled into me.
Why did you choose to be a griffin?
Elves have carved the shape of winged beasts since before mankind existed. I am a symbol, and top of mind or not, symbols have meaning. So I am the Griffin, sharp of talon and beak, wings to block the sun, justice incarnate.
Why is protecting people so important to you?
The circumstance of my existence is strange, to say the least, but my power, my strength is a gift. From Magnus, from Aetherius, choose as you will. That is a gift that I could honor, or I could squander. I choose the path of honor.
You feel compelled to act this way?
I believe it is what we choose to do that defines us, not where or how we are born. When I see cruelty against the weak, when I know my gifts can make a difference, I step in. How could I not?
Safeguards of the Griffin. Safeguard of health. A once sacred land has been trampled by worm cultists in the Eastern Rift. Wet the soil with their blood if you must, but seek the rare medicinal foxroot plant in this region and return it to me. Safeguard the depths. Delve into the many caves, ruins, and forts of the Rift. Slay one of the formidable foes that desecrate their halls. Safeguards of corruption. In cities of the Rift, corrupt merchants peddle watered-down tinctures, preying on the poor. Find one of these salesmen and steal their wealth in compensation for their greed. Safeguard of death. The Lich is among the most powerful undead creatures, tyrants over the living. They often bear sacred phylacteries, well springs of their unlife. Seek out and slay one of these creatures, such as Calurian, Naarneth, or the Mad Architect. Return with a splinter of their power. Safeguard of thieves. My time with the Fox has taught me the value of clever redistribution of wealth. The Thieves Guild offers leads on adventures they call heists. Complete 2 of these and return with a pair of fox-eye gems as proof. Safeguard of stars. Shards of Aetherius are dangerous weapons in the wrong hands. Splinters of these once mighty stones still are in the dormant of ancient Iliad ruins. Head to Cyrodiil and seek these shards in the ruins of Belda, Lindai, and Sardavar League. Okay. Well, that is the Griffon and the Fox. Okay, so we'll go to Somerset Isle and close some more time rifts for the Psijics. Okay. Two over here. Try not to run straight into a world boss. That would go badly. Oh, wow.
Oh, you're going to love this one.
This one's...
I'm seeing a tiny island surrounded by...
See if I can...
It's either water or cats. Difficult to say. Let's hope it's the cats, eh?
Say, Dolmen over here. Let's see, people aren't usually fighting here, but let's see. Oh, hey. Big old boss. These are just the babies. So these came later than the Somerset came after the base game, but before Gold Road. So they're harder than the base game rifts, but they're not as hard as the Skingrad area, Westfield rifts.
Allow me to introduce Reef Hammer, the Bane of Ulvakus. Unshackle your mind, puppy.
Oh. Yep. Zerat's dead.
Next time will be different ones.
Oh, nice. Golden antiquity lead. We like that. Okay, use the Augur of the Obscure. Okay. Take a moment to look at the beautiful sun, the water. Gorgeous. Okay, and let's go to this one. Okay, there's a world boss here. It looks like they're still fighting. Might be able to help. No? Yes? Yes, no? You just killed him? Is he dead? Are they dead? Did they die? Am I late? Okay, you know, there are a bunch of people here waiting. I might as well do this while I'm here because it can be tough to finish world bosses. Now, there are daily quests to do world bosses and daily quests to do delves, but I don't have any of those right now. But these people might be waiting. So I'm going to run over the hill to grab the time rift and then run back.
You know, coral's just weird sack animal bones, right? So this is a bit like a cemetery, I guess. Ugh, you do not want to know what their ghosts look like. Old cheese. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, I do have to close all 9. Haha. Okay. Well. Okay.
svifra traži sakura.
Okay. Okay. Get out of range. And check my skills, because some of them leveled up a bit. Okay. One down here and grab the two down here.
This breach is in a zoo! Wow! You know, I'm endlessly fascinated by animals. A bit like walking plants, eh? Except with more, you know, fluids. Ugh, what a word that is.
Lotus? Lotus? Where are you, precious?
Okay. I think that's got Zareth to 18. Hey, Zareth.
Ah, my Tamid. What do you say?
Yep. Level 19. At 20, he gets his ultimate. And then at 20, we'll switch to Sharp as Night. Now I want to pick up this shrine. So it is a lot of exploration, but it's exploration we're going to have to do at some point, so may as well do it while it's the most efficient and gives us the most payoff. So doing the describing line will get us all the components and the spells from there. Doing Sijic will get us a new skill line and access to...
A breach near the sea. Ah, I do love the ocean. It's a shame you can only see it in 3 dimensions. All the quasitones and endless number forms. Actually, I take it back. Your meat brain would explode if you saw this.
Weirdly, the Thieves Guild is not the line that helps you see chests in the world, make them glow. That is actually the Antiquities. I am kind of ambivalent to the Thieves and Assassins Guild. I think well...
For something to attack, or something to protect.
It has good writing. I like the quest lines. What I don't like is the final grind that you have to do, where you finish all of the quest lines and then you just, day after day after day after day after day, you have to steal and steal and steal and steal and steal. Or kill and kill and kill and kill and kill. It's mind-numbing. But there are things I really love about both of those quest lines. I just don't love the grind, so I may end up finishing the quest lines, but not finishing everything, all the content, and getting all the skills. Even my main hasn't done that because she just gave up. She just was miserable, logging on every day to grind it. I'm gonna grab this shard while I can, because what is at a massive premium is skill points. I will not have enough skill points to cover everything for a good long while. So everything's had to get yoinked out of crafting to pay for other stuff. Subclassing is expensive. If I remember, it's up on these rocks? Somewhere. Oh, no, I can... Okay, I can do that. Good. Okay.
With haste!
More ruins. You know, every stone tells a story. I mean that literally, by the way. That wall over there won't shut up about how much it hates rain. Let's find this breach and get out of here, eh?
Love this guy. Ah! And I have the best ore.
Potential from the veins
I
of
just don't know about jewelry crafting. Nice. I'm excited about that.
An inspired find, Tamid. Begone.
Ah, there's a breach here. Said he's a bit gaudy, eh? At least by mortal standards. Where I come from, this would be a little more than a preppy. I'm kidding, of course. No one peas where I come from.
Okay, 7 out of 9. Oh, oh, I think this one is a pain. Yeah, I remember that one. Okay. It's like inside a castle. I think the first few times I tried to do it, I tried to go underneath. Didn't follow the road up. Once you know the trick, it's a lot less frustrating. Beautiful. It's lovely.
Ooh, a spooky clipped-off estate. What a fine place for a breach. All sorts of ghastly things happened here. I can tell you that. I'd shudder if I had shoulders. I'm kidding, of course. Mortal fear is hilarious.
Bunch of bugs in here, if I remember. I don't like the Horvor, the giant ticks. I think they're just giant ticks in here. They freak me out more than most things. Yeah, it looks like spiders. Oh, hey, clear shot. Good. Yep, bugs. Nasty. Well, that was painless. One more. Okay, so we need to get to this one here. Go to this way shrine, run down, grab the other one. And then when we do out Somerset, we will have learned a lot of the spots here.
Yeah.
I am with you, Tommy.
Oh, I hear a breach nearby. You can't, can you? Count yourself lucky. Sounds like a swarm of bees bouncing around in a tin bucket full of sleigh bills. And sort of like that racket bards make.
Rest and no peace.
Okay, that is the first wave. I don't think there's anything going over here. It would actually spin on the map. My mini map there, I'd be able to see. So this will actually start to spin when it's preparing to, well, erupt, spawn, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I have a house in Artaeum. It's gigantic. It's very pretty. I don't think I actually put anything in it. Yeah. I believe... Oh, this isn't my house. Where's the... Okay, hold on. I believe some of the homes here were... Oh, there it is. Some of the homes here were like server-wide and worldwide achievements. So the entire community had to do stuff to, you know, add points to being able to unlock it. So yes, huge villa. Very pretty, just very out of the way. Lovely view. So as you can see, I'm very far south. So rather than run up the entire way, I'm just gonna port to Artaeum. Go to somewhere remote where there are more people and then port over.
Tired of walking? Very well.
Welcome back, Initiate. Have you done as I asked? Are the time breaches on Somerset Isle truly sealed?
Yes, I sealed all the breaches in Somerset.
Well done. Well done indeed. You already seem well versed in the cardinal virtues of our order. Altruism, foresight, precision in both thought and action. You will be a true asset to the order. Of that I am certain.
Thank you, Lord Master. What's next?
Speak with Josarja. She will want to know that the Augur is safe, no doubt. Yes, I know all about its sudden disappearance. You did well in recovering it. I bade her give you something, your first step on the path. She awaits you in the Athenaeum.
Thank you. I'll go speak to Josarja. Okay. I don't really remember. I think there's like upstairs places and portals. Yeah, there's like... Okay.
Thank goodness you're back. I hope the Augur didn't give you too much trouble. I know it can be a handful. Now, the Lore Master asked me to give you something. The first of many gifts.
What is it?
The most valuable gift. Knowledge. Please, use it carefully. When I learned my first spell, I accidentally banished a toad to the far ends of time. At least I think I did. It hasn't come back yet. Congratulations, you've earned it. And my thanks. First-rate work in Somerset. Really, first-rate. Unfortunately, we have another problem. Are you ready to set out again?
Yes, what's the problem?
Our seers detected more of these time breaches, this time in the Iliac Bay region, my homeland. The Lore Master and I will keep searching for the cause of the disturbances. In the meantime, we need you to seal them.
All right, should I use the same gear as last time?
Yes. Take this map of the region, more Psijic seals, and the Augur. I hope the breaches haven't grown more powerful. Stay safe, and just make sure Alakir weathers this, all right? I know, I shouldn't... I have to stay detached. Oh, never mind.
Don't worry, I'll seal those time breaches.
May the old way guide your steps. The Lore Master was very impressed by your work in Somerset. He's a hard mer to know, but he's always been generous with his praise. I just wish I could be a better student.
You think you're a poor student?
Well, not in the traditional sense. But don't get me wrong, I'm a very proficient mage. That's what caught the Lore Master's eye when he found me in the Alakir. I just struggle with some of the deeper lessons. The philosophy.
What lessons are you talking about?
The Psijic Order isn't just a collection of wizards. It's a world view, you know? A state of mind. It's not enough to be a talented mage. You have to learn to see things in a different way. To cultivate a detached and virtuous perspective.
You haven't done that?
Some days I think I'm making progress. Then other days like today, I see how far I have to go. A true Psijic would see all people and regions as equals. But for me, part of me never left the Alakir. My heart's still in the desert.
So you're more troubled by this happening in your homeland?
Yes. I would never admit it to the Lore Master. But yes, I'm sorry. I don't mean to bother you with this. You're just starting out after all. Just forget I said anything. Be safe.
Okay, so now we have under Guild the Psijic Order line. Now, we can't do much with it left. We just got to level 1. So improve this skill by increasing your rank. Complete quests to increase your rank. So doing the... Okay, so I have unlocked the first passive. The insight you've gained from the Psijic Order grants you vision of the spiritual world. You can now interact with rifts all throughout Tamriel. So now there will be rifts in the world for me to loot that look like the Time Rift, essentially, not when they're black, but just glowing white. And I will be able to loot them. They'll have runes and magical items in them. So, looking around this amazing magical library, look, all the books are floating. We will end it here, and I will try not to read everything here. Try really hard. Have a good time of day where you are. Hope to see you later.